Oop. Oh gosh. Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Heinz Sight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just had to make sure that everything is all set on my end. Thank you so much once again for tuning in. I just wanted to say shout out to everyone that was in with the that tuned into our that Ketchup Court's live stream yesterday on my sister channel called Ketchup Court. Verdict talk going over the Ashley Benefield case, and we had a special 1 second. Just had to get that. Just got to get that spot. I'm joking. We had a special guest with us, and it was Andrea Burkhardt, and she answered a lot of questions. And pretty much, this stream is just summing up a lot of not what was said on that interview. Was it an amazing interview? I personally enjoyed everything that was coming out of it. There were some things that she did bring to light that kind of inspired this stream in a way. I wouldn't say inspired. I would say influenced a lot. It had a lot of influence on this stream because ideally it was predicated, or at least the idea behind it is the fact that actually, the idea behind what she said about oh gosh, have I just lost it? It will come back to me. I'll get it back. I'm not gonna force it, but it was definitely what she said. I'll get it back. It'll come to me. But I believe it was flipping heck. Damn it! I just lost it. I lost it completely. But I'll just go through what I have planned today. So basically, we're just gonna recap through the trial moments and basically everything to do with this case and how it has basically impacted the family and how they can basically move on from this. Because don't forget, you have Eva Benefield as well as not just Eva Benefield. You also have Emerson. I was trying to figure out the name. Yeah, you also have Emerson. So, those are the individuals here that are like, you got to consider, especially in the, you got to consider like the child in this now that Ashley has been, sentenced. Who's going to take care of the child? I don't know how that's going to go. Is that going to be something that is going to go with Eva and Doug or someone in the family, or is it something that's gonna go into the system? Who knows after that? We're gonna discuss all of that. We're also gonna discuss the moments in trial that could have lost her the case, and also the moments that also could have got the moments. Let me put it like this: the moments that the prosecution had that corroborate with their case, and the moments that the that the defense had that was going well for their case and didn't go well for their case, and vice versa. That's basically what I was trying to say. Damn, brain tied. I'm not gonna call that tongue tied. That was brain tied. But nonetheless, that is basically the stream for today. That's basically the agenda for today. And so we also, if you guys have any questions that you guys want to ask me as well, you feel free to do so in the chat. Let's make this a very fun stream because it is going to be. I mean, there is a lot of takeaway because with the benefit of hindsight, I always got that. With the benefit of hindsight, there is a lot that can be taken away from this case. Before I forget, because I'm very prone to that. Before I forget, there was a question that was asked about when the sentencing was on the previous stream, and I did not. I read it and I was gonna read it out. But another comment came up, and the comment was. It was a great question, and I just had to ask Andrea the question. So unfortunately, I forgot to answer the question. But the sentencing date has not been decided. Yeah, that was a question. I forgot who by. I think it was a purple. He had a purple like emoji, but I don't know who by. But yeah, he or she was asking in regards to the sentencing date, and there we I don't know. It's not been decided yet, but it's something that when it is, I will communicate it here, and I will also update it on the Heinz Report pack, which we're gonna get into in this stream. But before going, also for today's Ketchup squeeze, which is what you're gonna see here on your screen, you should see on your screen. For Ketchup squeeze, there is none for today. There are loads of stories. I've just had a lot of my work cut out putting together. Sorry by the way if there's a lot of background sound. I do apologize if there's a lot of background sound. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh dang, I just forgot. Ketchup squeeze, that's it. There are a lot of stories out there, like for example the Mr. B story. I'm even considering doing a full stream on that. If I find something interesting from looking into it, because I haven't looked into it. It's a big story, but the reason why I do these statements is because they have to tie into the overall nucleus of the case, and I haven't really come across a story that could tie in one way or the other. So there is no Ketchup squeeze for this week, but it will be back next week surely, when we do have a new case to look at and to analyze. So yeah, that's basically it. So no Ketchup squeeze for this week. So we're just gonna do with the announcements, because the channel is moving in such a positive space. We have hit 2,000 subscribers since yesterday's interview with Andrea Burkhardt, and it's monumental, because it's just it's something. Yeah, it's amazing, because I did not think I'll get that this far. 2,000 in like how long? A year or two years of doing this. So on this channel anyway. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. Welcome. Hold up. What's wrong with this? Oh, okay. Let me push it up. Okay. Hold on. Just clearing up some technicals on my end. Apologies for that yesterday, by the way. Let me just see if it works. It's still not working. Okay. There are technicals here. It pops up, but for some reason I can't see your chats. So let me try refreshing and see what happens. Let me see if that helps. No, it doesn't. That doesn't help either. Oof. I can't. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to read your chats out. Something is wrong with the overlay. I didn't think something would be wrong with the overlay with this new system. It was working yesterday fine. So this is new for me. Let me try and see if I can fix it in quick time. If I can't fix it, we're not gonna force it. We're just gonna continue on. But yeah, thank you everyone that's here, by the way. Liz, I'm trying to highlight your message, Liz Mitchell. So take no offense, like I'm trying to highlight your message, so I have seen it, but for some reason it's just not coming out. So I don't know why that is, but yeah, for some reason it's not coming out. So hopefully it will come out. But yeah, nope. Yeah, I don't think it wants to come out. Okay, so I guess we're going to be a bit handicapped today. So I'm not gonna see, unfortunately, I'm not going to see your chats come through. We're using a new system, so a new system to do multi-streaming. So unfortunately, yeah, that's that's an interface that needs getting used to in of itself. But nonetheless, I can see your chats, and yes, I will fix this for the next stream. But she said, Liz Mitchell said, "Hi, Dr. Heinz. Just found your channel yesterday. I watched the trial. It's so sad." Yes, the trial. It was sad. It had its moments. and there was a lot of. That's why I say I put it's not clickbait. The thumbnail. That's why I put in the thumbnail that that this is tragic. You know, that this at least in regards to the perspective of Ashley Benefield, even if if you believe her, even if in my perspective, I mean, even in my perspective, where I don't believe her, in the sense, like, I'm gonna give my reasons on through this stream. If it wasn't enough yesterday, um, sorry, not to that's not what I mean by just not enough. Not to go over too much of what we spoke about yesterday. Is what I mean by that. Make sure you hit the like button, folks, as well, so that the YouTube algorithm can pick us up. But yeah, we're also gonna be, because I've seen a lot of your chats from yesterday as well. Your comments, sorry, I've seen a lot of your comments from yesterday. I'm going to be reading that out onto the stream, on the stream as well, and we're gonna go through and discuss those comments as well. But the reason why this stream is even called the Reprieve is because I have been so inundated with this case. Just collating all the details and analyzing it and forming the opinion that I reach, so that you guys can at least see the logic that is not just based on the fact that I believe she just by default falsely accused, or parental alienation, which we're gonna go through today. We are, but it wasn't by default that there was a logic to it. There was a thought to reach that. So I'm gonna present my theory of the case, using the report that I created in in researching this case. So that report, I am aiming to get that over the line and finish it completely by tomorrow. Hopefully by tomorrow. Tomorrow also we have Ketchup Courts. It's not it's just to go through Laura Owens declarations, part 2. So it's just to basically go through the family's declaration that was declaring on behalf of Laura Owens, who is a serial liar and a serial false accuser. So for her, at least I can say confidently, she is a liar and manipulator, all that. But at least with this case, that wasn't the case. I didn't ascribe those labels to Ashley Benefield. I think she had enough reason to fear for her life living with Doug. And I say that with every respect, and that's not me trying to tarnish Doug. I'm saying that just based on objective facts. Like, what she went through in the relationship with Doug Benefield is not exactly, what was not exactly tasteful. Let me, 1 second. Let me just go and get this sheet up, and then we go through a timeline of events, and and the victim's details, etc. So let me get the sheet up here. One second. All right, let's do this. All right. Right. Okay. Oh. Oh, no sound. Oh, my bad. Oh gosh, no sound. Fixing it. 1 second. Let me fix it now. Yeah, it should be sound now. 1 second. It just stopped. It didn't come through, did it? Okay. Okay, is there sound? I don't know why it's not coming from my... What's wrong with this one? Is there sound now? Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. Okay. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so we are back. As I'm fixing this because I've changed the video resolution on my computer. So unfortunately it has literally realigned everything. It's literally changed everything. So I was not cognizant of that. I should have been aware, to be honest. Of course it would, because it was made under different transformations. So I should have been a bit more cognizant of that. But that's literally it. So I'm just trying to fix it all now. And yeah, and we'll get going. Okay. So, right, almost there. And here. Let me know if you can see it properly. Because if you guys can see it properly, then yeah, okay. So this is the report. You guys can see it. Perfect. You guys can hear it. Okay, perfect. But I still cannot, unfortunately, for the life of me, get your chat up. For some reason, I still can't get your chat up. It is what it is. It's really unfortunate. I'm trying everything on my end. I don't know what it is. You guys are in the same window, so I don't know if it's like a window thing. I don't know why Social Stream just decided to just not work for me today, but let's try one more time. Let's try and see if you can future your streams. Yeah. Let's see if that works one last time. Let's try it one last time. Yeah, even that's not loading. All right, it's done. I don't know what's wrong with it. I'll fix it tomorrow or something like that. I'll fix it tomorrow. Oh, the bad news is this layout that I've got is literally in the resolution that it was in. I did not see this day coming, so did not think. But next time I need to learn more about resolutions and all of that. And we're not talking about New Year's resolutions either. I couldn't resist. It's the poet in me. I couldn't resist, guys. Oh, by the way, if you guys, I don't know if this interests you, sounds weird. Probably is weird for some of you guys, but if it interests you, I do write poetry and I post art stuff on Threads sometimes. So if that interests you and you want to see what I write, or you want to see my interest, my art interest, follow me on Threads. It's the same as Twitter. Is at Dr. Heinz Official. So yeah, if that interests you, this is also being streamed to Instagram. So hi there as well. Welcome to the show. If this is the first time you guys tuning in, I can't see your comments, so I don't know what you guys are like over there. But yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well. It's coming across differently on Instagram though. So I do apologize for that. I need to get a different interface because Instagram is not ready. I don't think it's ready for live stream, but I need to get a different interface. I see how it looks like on Instagram. I might end it on there, but Instagram users, treat it as a podcast. Just listen to it. My voice is soothing enough. I believe so anyway. Swifty, thank you so much for your message. By the way, I have no reason to doubt you. But if you believe the jury got it right, I would like to expand more on that. Um, Actually, Swifty, if you would like to have, like, not come up here like anything like that, but like just like call in or something like that, and like speak, like and expound more on what you mean, I'd be happy to like facilitate or something. There are facilities that I can use to make sure that happens. It's like so yeah, let me know, and then I'll send you the link. But here is the actually the Heinz report of actually Benefield's case against the state of Florida, and this is Doug Benefield's autopsy report. He was shot to the wound, and again this is to the right chest area, and again this is why I believe Ashley's story about him lunging at her. I have to get my testimony correct on this because I do have a timeline, and not only a timeline, I do also have a prosecution overview as well, where I detail everyone's testimony. So especially when it comes to the medical examiner, which I am on at the moment, I just got that to go, and I think the prosecution rests after the gun analyst, and then the defense takes over, and I gotta go through that. I'm not gonna go into the power control wheel and all of that in detail because there's not much to really go into on the overview. But in terms of like, because it was just mainly theoretical, and how relevant would it be to Doug? If I see something that's relevant, I'll point it out, but I'm not gonna do much on that. But outside of that, when all like outside of what I was trying to say in regards to testimonies is, I don't know how accurate it was in the ordering of what the medical examiner thinks that the bullets went in. So if the medical examiner thinks that the chest was the first one, for me this would have been a quit, because we already knew, and it was already established firmly in the case, that Ashley did not have a good shot. Like it wasn't even someone's opinion, like, or it wasn't even her saying I don't have a good shot, I was nervous. It was literally the gun was, like, it showed signs of that. The experts that work with firearms regularly, they kind of opined on this and kind of said, yeah, this is essentially not a result of like a jam, but just someone that just didn't know how to use the weapon, or it could be nervousness. I think he was asked that was a follow-up question, and then they agreed that it could be those factors as well. 1 second, let me just adjust this light. All right, that should be better. All right. No, is that better? No, that's not better. No, back where you belong. That's better. I think that's better. Don't know why I did that. Just go back to where I saw it. But so back to what I was saying in regards to the medical examiner. So depending on what went first, in my opinion, would have acquitted her or not acquitted her. Would have acquitted her. But the fact that there was a side wound, and the fact that even I don't know, and over on my sister's channel, it's called The Unintentional Juror. The links are in the description as well, so you can go check them out. But even if I was a juror in this case, and that's why I made a channel, which is the plug, but even if I was the juror in this case, and I'm looking at this case, and I forgot that detail, and I don't know which went in first, I'm going to look at, by default, even though this does corroborate your story, by default, I'm going to wonder how it got to the side. It's like, how did the bullet get to the back? Was the back the entry wound or the exit wound? And those questions really matter, and that's what the medical examiners have to establish for the jury. So with the medical examiner establishing that there was an entry wound in the chest and no exit wound, and also establishing that there was an entry wound on the side, it was done. For me, if I'm having that question in my head, how did the bullet get to the side? I'm not doubtful anymore. I know I'm not doubtful anymore of your defense, of self-defense. I want you to kind of put up now and be like, yo, okay, so my reason of doubt is gone, is basically what I'm trying to say. So based on that, I was just there was no way I could look at any other way in this trial or to look at the jury verdict. They got it right to the T. Manslaughter was right, in my opinion. Didn't have to be intentional. Of course, she gets less. Apparently, she's looking at 30 years, but I don't think she's going to get 30. I think 20 is likely. But overall, I personally think outside of the trial side, outside of the courtroom, outside of what has to go on there legally and all of that, this was a tragic case for many reasons. But the one reason that stood out to me the most, let's start the other reason first. So this was a tragic case in the sense that this was a credible DV victim by all objective metric, and she's getting taught a hard philosophical lesson in a way that just because something has happened to you does not give you some kind of right in a way. That sounds harsh. But in a way, that's what it's concluding to me, because, like I said, based on the evidence that's come out in trial, listening to everyone's testimonies, well, almost everyone. I haven't finished everyone's yet. But at least for the relevant people that mattered in terms of Ashley, Eva, everyone that's relevant to the case and key to the case, is seeing the evidence that's come out, seeing Doug's action, hearing what Andrea has to say in regards to even Doug himself. And it's made me believe that that there was just no way for her to get protected legally. There was just no way. Everything it became clear cut when the medical examiner spoke. I don't know about the gun analyst, so I don't have any opinion in regards to the gun analyst. But I do know, based on I think it was the initial cops that were talking about the gun and how they found it, and in that state, I do know that just based on that alone, that the gun jammed on, all of those arguments were coming up. So so that's basically what we're gonna talk about today. So that so it's Ashley Benefield a victim of DV? That was a discussion last time, and even back then, it was an overwhelming yes. She was a victim of DV, and it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close in the sense that the behaviors that Doug was displaying is inexcusable, which is what he tried to do. So I try to give him grace because I'm looking at the mental aspect of it, in terms of he was saying that he was suffering from a nervous breakdown and he hit a dog. But end of the day, that is psychologically abusive in all aspects, and she was not with him again. Let's go through the timeline. I think they met during a political campaign. I think Ashley and Doug met during a political campaign, a Donald Trump political campaign. And then they started having difficulties early on, and she left Doug. And she left Doug early on, but they were married. And this is the thing, because that was the most complicating factor in all this story. They were married immediately, and even Eva Benefield was speaking about this during this period of August 2017, the difficulties that she was having with that she was witnessing with Doug and Ashley Benefield. And she was also speaking on not only what she was witnessing with Ashley and Doug Benefield, but she was also speaking about the relationships that she was forcing with Ashley Benefield herself. I've only got the summary here, and we're gonna go through a bit of that. So the only part here, the only part here is that that stuck out is that she has never witnessed. It's how unique how she was living with them, but she just didn't see anything. She just didn't see the physical abuse. She didn't see a physical abuse. And to credit to Ashley, she never said that physical abuse occurred in the relationship. Massive credit to her for that, like, because she was very truthful all through, which I can see why she won many people over in that type of way, and that's why I also, again, there's so many reasons for why I think this is tragic, because I can see why a lot of people would vibe with her, but again, like, the most tragic part about this is that just how do you accommodate that legally? Like, how could someone be justified in killing somebody that is outside the realm of their life was actually incredible danger? I still don't think it was established. I don't think none of what she said was fake, but I don't think she done a good job establishing it though. But I think what she said here hold on a second. This part here though, let me read here. On cross-exam, it says, question about the holes in the kitchen and the closet that was eventually patched up by Doug Benefield revealed that Doug Benefield had learned that her dad had close quarters training in the army. She also know close quarters military training and is a black belt in Taekwondo. She wasn't aware of the domestic violence injunction by Ashley. And there was no redirect after this as well. I think there should have been redirect. Well, actually, no. I can see. Sorry. No, I can think. No, I think I should be redirect. Sorry. I can see why there's no redirect here, because you got to consider the fact that Doug Benefield knows how to do Taekwondo and military combat training. And when that came out of Eva, I thought that was pretty compelling evidence. One second. I thought that was pretty compelling evidence to basically acquit Ashley, because that was her entire premise in the day. And I personally don't think you can. I mean, yeah, if you want to use, with the benefit of hindsight, we can see how someone could sit down and want to plan that out, considering you're already losing a custody battle. But there's so many ways to theorize this. Sorry. There's so many ways to analyze this, I'm going to say. Because let's take on the example that she did. Because I do believe that there was some kind of intentionality in going to kill Doug. But I believe that it's as nuanced as, I want to do it, I'm going to do it, but I'm desperate because I want to keep my child. I don't want to lose my child. It's more in that level where it's more frantic kind of thing. Not spontaneous. But you know what you're going to do. But it's just one of those ones where you're in the moment and you're frozen. You kind of you don't, but the plan didn't come up because you hate Doug or anything like that. It came up out of desperation, is basically the crux of my of what I'm trying to argue here, in terms of all of this. So could she have made up the story of the military combat thing and how he goes into a military pose? Because if she knew about her combat training, his combat training, beforehand, I don't see how you can make that up. Well, I mean, I can see how you can use that and weaponize that now. I'm thinking about it and say, actually, I'll just say that he got into a fighter pose. But I feel like if you're gonna go through that and actually write it down that meticulously, I feel like we would have got a bit more substance from the actual, like, there would have been a bit more fight. Like, trauma is one thing, like having to recall trauma, but having to recall a story doesn't really have an emotional attachment, has having to recall an actual memory that does have Do you see what I'm trying to say? So if you are rehearsing this and you're like, I'm actually going to use the military combat training as my linchpin for my argument and say, that's why I had to shoot him, I was scared of him. Because she did say that. She did say, I was scared of him. I was scared of them. So, I saw him in his fire pose. And to me, I believe that. I actually believe that. I don't think in any way she lied about that. Because that would be terrifying for someone that, especially when you know that this guy does have military training, years upon years of combat, trained ever. I don't know if actually she was never asked, so I don't really know. But let's say that she does know. Train his daughter military training, and that comes out in trial. Like, that. Me as a juror, if I heard that, the first thing that's coming into my head is, yo, what happened that day? Because now, the question about the leg is explained. You understand what I mean? The leg, I can explain now. I'm like, okay, she's terrified. But the one thing that at least hangs together the point that I have, the one thing that at least hangs together everything that makes me believe that yes, this verdict was not only just, but actually definitely had the mind to 100% do what she did. It was definitely the bullet to the side. I wanted to know where the entry wound was. So for me not to even know that it was was it called a flesh wound? I don't know. I don't know what it's called, but like a graze. You know how a bullet would graze you? For me not to learn that was damaging, because at least I would have known, oh, he just got grazed at the side. It was actually all frontal. But if you're now turning to the right and it's gone in from the side, game over. Because that means he was actually turning around. So that means he most likely was probably initially in a fire pose, walked towards her. But when he probably saw the gun, he turned around to run. And the first shot, that's why I said the first shot is most likely the chest. That would be the first shot. It makes more sense. And then the side, because he turned around. So, had she not shoot again, and let me get the interview up, because it was actually very, very, very deep. The interview that... I believe it was press conference, my bad. The press conference that Ashley Benefield gave to Court TV. I just remembered it literally on the spot. Oh gosh, I hate when that happens, because you write down everything you want to talk about, and you're like, but then something comes up on the stream and you're like, oh gosh, I gotta go now and get it. But let me try and find it. And while I do that, I'm going to read the chat with you guys. So 1 second. Let me change. No, that's not it. All right. Okay. So let me go to the chat. Publicly Buzz is here. Hi, welcome, Publicly Buzz. By the way, Publicly Buzz, if you can see what I'm saying, I hope you haven't left yet. But if you can see this, I don't know what's wrong with my chat. I know you have OBS on your end. I don't know what's going on with my chat, but for some reason, Social Stream is not actually showing up on my OBS anymore, and I want to highlight everyone's chat. So if you know what's happening, maybe you can assist with that. I am using Restream, but I didn't connect my account, so I'm using the stream keys whenever I go live. So I don't know whether all of this is happening because I didn't connect my account, but whatever it is, I hope you can help. So I hope that's enough information for you to use and see how you can help me. But if you can help me, then yeah, do give help if you can. But yeah, I hope Maui Swift says, I think he was turning away because she pulled a gun, and don't believe about and don't I don't believe her about a fighter's stance. Yeah, equally, I do not believe her either, at all, because it just doesn't make. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, no, I believe it doesn't make sense as a whole reason, as in that's all he did, and then that's all you shot him for, just a fighter's stance. That falls apart immediately just to logic and reason. It's like, well, in that case, how did you get to the side? Like, that's why I felt the prosecution won this case easily, because it's not like they were off Ashley and like giving her time, like, sorry, they were giving her time, but it's not like they were not making themselves look bad. Which is not my main point, but what I was trying to say was, it's not like the prosecutors were basically shying away from the point of, okay, tell me what was happening at the scene. They were not shying away from that, and the jury picks up on these things. They pick up on these things. They're gonna look at that and they're gonna be like, actually, wait. The prosecutor is asking you a very easy question. What did he do? Because, and you gotta think of the risk and reward of this as well, strategy as well, in the jury's mind. If someone is logical in there, let's just say I'm in a jury. I'm thinking, this guy, you got a bullet in your side and you're telling me you don't know. The prosecution even asking you the question to try and solicit that answer from you makes them look good, because they're trying to get to the bottom of it. That's what it looks like to me. And I would find you guilty just based on that alone, because you're being difficult with them. That means you're going to be difficult with us. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But that's the way I saw it. So irrespective of the crime, that's why I can look through the crime, because I was like, that's real. I know that's real, because I know she did see that stance. I know she did see something that seemed threatening, right? And I can go full pelt on that theory, and my theory of her actually doing it still holds up. I can reconcile both theories. The point I want to make, though, before I even go into my theory of what happened here, the point I want to make, though, is that in regards to Ashley Benefield, and the fact that she had that room to tell the story, what he may have done to turn around all of that, and maybe she said, from what I can remember, she said he lunged at her, and because of this lunge. So the simulation I can get in my head was he was lunging sideways. You know what I'm trying to say? But I mean, that's what I'm guessing she was trying to sell to everyone. But again, these are things that just don't make her look credible. And with the history of the fact that she has made false allegations against him, it may not be enough for it to be predetermined. But I can understand why it's manslaughter. It is classic it really is classic manslaughter. You can't look out of it, like, because at the end of the day, to me, and why it is classic manslaughter, I don't know if this is how the jury arrived at it, but this is how I arrived at it. The reason why it's classic manslaughter is literally because of the fact that I think it's because she was about to lose the custody of the child. So let me go back to Eva Benefield, and we'll get into my theory of the case. Let me try and find that interview from Court TV. Oh gosh, I don't think I can find it. Never mind then. Let me read some of your chats, because they are coming through now. Publicly buzzed. Okay, so yeah. Mary Swift says, why did he not try to grab the gun? 45 is rather a large handgun. Yeah, it's not easy to hold. That's a very good point as well, because at least that makes sense. Why sorry. That makes sense as to why, when you look at it, as to why Ashley was even shaking. You can argue fear, But when you actually look at the gun that was being, good point, Maui. When you look at the gun that was even being used, you can just argue that maybe the weight was just too heavy, and that's not the guns that she's used to. There's a point to be made there. So maybe it wasn't even fear at all. Based on what happened with the gun, maybe it wasn't fear at all. Maybe it was just literally she just couldn't use the gun because of the sheer weight. Who knows? I don't know. But I want to go on the side of caution, and I just want to go. It seems safer to bet that she was scared. The fight pose did happen, and it probably did happen. Nervous breakdown. Got it. Best analogy I can think of. You know that saying that everything is funny until it's the rabbit that's got the gun? This is it. I think that's perfect. I think that's the most perfect analogy I can give this. Because let me actually ask you, what do you think of that analogy? Let me ask in a poll. What do you think of that analogy? Until the rabbit has the gun for Ashley Benefield case. Okay. So what yeah, so that's what I personally think. I'm building up to a point here. But you know, that's what I think about this. You know, it's fun and games until the rabbit has the gun. Does it strike me as odd that Doug even was trying to go in a military pose? It makes sense. I mean, if I was to take Ashley's story as complete truth, I think there's a realm for it. And let me pitch it to you. Like, think of it this way, right? He comes in and he's going into a fire's pose. He's doing all this, and Ashley here is terrified. Why is he in a fire pose? I can explain. We already know he has controlling behaviors from the onset. We already know he does not. We already know how he reacts to certain scenarios about, you know, especially with losing Ashley. I know that Tommy Benefield tried to argue that, you know, Doug was okay with losing Ashley, like, you know, all of that. But end of the day, that's just his perspective, and I'm not discounting it in any way. I'm just recognizing it's just his perspective. That's all. And what he saw is just may not be the reality. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. I'm just saying it's his perspective. If he didn't feel like Doug did not move on, only he knows. Ashley was not even in the place to know how Doug feels about her, you know, and only he's speaking on it. I have nothing else to go by apart from him. I believe him, and I do believe that. But let's say that, sorry, not let's say, but there was a moment that when that was actually an issue with Doug, you know, the whole jealousy and all that. That did happen when Ashley got a new boyfriend, you know, and they got back together around that period. That did happen. So I'm not using it against him. I'm just saying I can see the mindset of someone that would take issues with things like that, jealousy, all of those things that would, you know, because from what even the lawyer story, Jennifer, what's her name? One second. Stephanie Murphy. Even Stephanie Murphy, who was Doug Benefield's lawyer, was surprised how, like, this guy. It was surprising how this guy they just went into the room. she was jealous of Stephanie. I mean, her testimony was conclusive for me in regards to, like, in terms of how this fighting stance could be real, because what she testified to was quite unique. She basically said that when her and Doug came to see for a hearing, I think they had a hearing. I think it wasn't. She said something about September. I'm not sure if I chronicled it. I think I did. Let me just go back into the let me Oh, mic muted. Guys, I'm so sorry. How long was that? Oh, 2 minutes. I spoke for 2 minutes as well. What did I say in the last 2 minutes? Oh, let me do this for myself so that at least I know. That should fix it. I know what's causing it. Let me fix it again right now. Let me fix it. All right, I know what's causing it. Right, let's fix it. Thank you for that heads up. It's giving me a lot. So I'm gonna take the moment, but let me go back to my point that I was saying. So, like I was saying, let me go back to my point so that you guys can catch up along. I do apologize for that little technical difficulty there. So I was saying that in this moment that Stephanie Murphy claimed, as shown here, Stephanie Murphy claims that Ashley gave her a nasty look and asked her if both and Doug were both dating. Both denied it. Both Doug and Stephanie denied it. On the same day, Doug Benefield decides to leave with Ashley to Stephanie's dismay, considering both were in litigations. And now suddenly Ashley is okay with him. So of course I remember this moment because it was objected to and I believe it was sustained. But I managed to catch this part in because sometimes when it's sustained, no one speaks, so you can't get the information. But I do that. I don't care what was sustained or not. Whatever I catch, I write down. So based on this, I could see why a lot of people felt a type of way. They felt like, by the way, hit the like button, please, because it does help with the algorithm. You can subscribe if you want to. It's not my, if you like what you like, you like what you like. But I help us. You know what? I mean, do I even want to keep? I personally do it because I like reminding you, everyone here. But I don't like to do it. If I'm being honest, I don't like to ask people to like do anything. I don't even like, super chats and all of that. I don't. If you honestly do feel compelled to do whatever, super chats, financially support my channel, whatever it might be, go ahead. I'm not gonna stop you. In fact, I would encourage you to do these things. But the issue is just, I just never believed in it. I just never relied on it as a marketing strategy. I just never believe. It's just never been. I've always been told to do it. Don't get it twisted. I've always been told but I've always been a rebel in a kind of way. But, I've always been told it's best practice, remind people this and that. So, yeah, that's been my initial reason. But really and truly, I have never been about that all through my life. Everything that I've done, every endeavor, I've always been the type of person to have the mentality of, I'm going to set up my stall. If my food is bombing, you're going to make sure that you're going to come again. So I'm not worried. I've always had that mentality. When I was DJing, all of those things. It's something that I'm doing on YouTube because I've seen so many people do it. I've seen so many people and I get it. I'm not knocking anyone. I'm not. It's just styles. I'm not knocking anyone. I've just always had the energy of all the style. I don't know what you want to call it. I just never asked. Just, if you like what you see, hey, do your thing. I will respond how I see fit or whatever is appropriate for the moment. Do your thing. As long as you want to do it. So if you want the algorithm to find it, I guess you can like it. I'm gonna stop. I don't know. I want to stop doing it, to be honest. I just want to it just doesn't feel me. I'm being honest. I forget it as well so many times. Let's be real here. Do you know how many times I forget to actually say the even thing on some streams and I kick myself for it? I'm just gonna stop kicking myself for that. I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna stop even saying it. If you guys remember, you remember. I hope you guys would remember. what I will do instead to like at least like keep the stream in mind is what I'm gonna do. I will put a banner that says remember to like and subscribe so that I don't have to say it, you know, so you guys can see the banner. I'll say it at the start or something like that. I don't know, but I don't know. I just never. Yeah. So, but regardless, you know, if that's, you know, if you do find some value from what I do here or any of my channels, you know, consider, yeah, you know, subscribe if you want, subscribe if you don't, like if you want, like if you don't. But yeah, I'm just happy that everyone is here enjoying the stream. So let me go into the chat. So I haven't seen anything. Okay, let me go into my Twitter actually while I wait for and okay, okay, I haven't heard anything from Publicly Buzzed. So let me go into the Eva Benefield then. Let me get that up, and then I'll go back into the chat, and then we can move on from there. So I'm just trying to find the video again. I did find it initially, and I somehow closed it down, or at least moved away from it. Can't find it now. Oh, here it is. Right. All right. Let's move on. All right. All right. Here we go.
What if I told you that instead of setting up a green screen, you can just click a button into script?
I'm not gonna do that. Let me try and get to that little. I didn't write the timestamp because I literally just remembered, but I just need to get into what the daughter said about Eva. What the daughter said about
will remain. Emerson is legally in.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, actually, I'll start here. I inadvertently landed. My fortunes are great. I inadvertently landed on a part that they did discuss what would happen to Emerson. So we can play a bit of that. Court TV, the interview was actually really good. So I would recommend it. I'll put the links in the description. All the sources that I use in this will be in the description. As for every stream, it will also be available on my website as well. So drheinz.info. I'm going to be changing the website as well. Everything should be updated by Sunday, but I will communicate that once it is all updated. I will be launching a Padlet. I'm not really sure, to be honest, a Padlet or a Substack. I'm not sure, but I want to put the Heinz Report out on there, so that people are aware of it, and people at least have a form of it, because I want to make it so that my members have full access to the full document, like the full in its easiest form. But for the Substack and for all of that, it will be written as an analytical piece, and they will have the PDFs of every tab in the Excel. Is just going to be in a Substack. That's all it is. It's just going to be in a Substack, and they can download it from there, etc. It's just not going to be as easy as it is having the sheets right there with you for you to navigate in real time. That's the difference. So I try to think, how can I still service you guys without taking anything away? That's the best compromise I have. I hope that my members that do financially support me and do like that perk that I've given for them, because I will give them the link, and all they have to do is just basically just send me a request, and I will accept it, because it's all done on Google Docs. So yeah, I hope that little tidbit was helpful. So let me go back into the chat and read some out. Again, I'm having problems with the thing. It's not, it hasn't fixed itself yet. So I asked a question earlier. 4 votes, 75% says yes. So I asked the question: what do you think of the of the "it's funny until the rabbit has the gun" for Ashley Benefield's case. A lot of people say yes, it works. So I'm happy that you guys understood that, because it really is. Because I think he only turns around because he didn't realize that Ashley had a gun, and because of that, yeah, because he didn't realize Ashley had a gun. That's the only reason. And I think everyone saw it, and they came to that conclusion irrespective of what she said. So just how it played out. So let's go into the what was brought out on Court TV in regards to what happens with Emerson. So let's share this tab, and 1 second.
And the custody.
Right. Okay, so I believe that is.
And
let me adjust that for you guys. Sorry about that. Oh, this was more designed for. Yeah. Yeah, okay. At least I know what to do now. Make different layouts for different type of formats. Learn something new every day. Who knew that would actually be a thing to actually have to come to learn when you're doing YouTube? Oh well. You learn something new every single day. But yeah, shout out to everyone that's still here. Let me just read the chat one more time. My ex Swifty said, hold up. So Swifty said, Master Manipulator. Swifty said, Master Manipulator. If that would have been me, I would have ended with everything, and instead of getting out with the clothes on my back. We have to be careful, because that dynamic is not only taxing, but it's very unpredictable. That's the best way to describe it. It's very unpredictable. And having been through one myself, I made it a mission that I would take unpredictability out of my life. You know what I mean? Give me boring. Give me boring. Give me peace. I don't know. Give me everything else, but unpredictable. Anyone that's unpredictable, I would run a mile. That's just me. That's also how I live. If I think that you're unpredictable, I'm running a mile. So anywhere that people are predictable and I know your behavior, I know who you are, yeah, I'll get on with you. My friends, I know them inside out. So domestic violence, that's why I use that kind of, comparison, because domestic violence is very unpredictable. It's something that you don't really bargain to get into at first. And I know it's very obvious to make that point. It really is, because who plans to get into an abusive? No one. I know that. But when you are in it, it's very unpredictable, because you don't even know what you're going to do. And you don't even know what the next person is going to do. You don't know what's going to happen if you even speak about something. I'm not saying this to stop people or to say people don't go forward. Please go forward immediately. And I say go forward immediately with a massive caveat on the point of you just have to remember that if you're going to have this mindset or this thought, again, I'm not condemning the thought. If you're going to have this thought, it's better off presented in a way that is practical. Because I agree with your thought. I will do everything I can to get out of them. And in all fairness to Ashley, she did get out of there. And I'm not cheapening that in any way. But I would say it in all terms of practicality. I would make sure that I get out safely or something. At least caveat with the word safely or something. Because at least when all things are considered, like, did Ashley get out of the let's say that her defense of DV was happening on that day, right? Did she do things safely on that day? Now we can have a discussion about it. I don't think so. No, at all. Nope. Did not try. And I think that's what we should be taking away when we say things like that, because it is, again, it's just unpredictable. It doesn't mean that you're wrong, by the way. I agree with you. Get out. But it's such an unpredictable scenario that Get Out may just be, or Leave immediately, or giving scenarios of what you would do in that situation may just be too broad to be. It may just be too broad to be applicable for everyone in every scenario. That's what I feel, in regards to this. But I do agree with you, Get Out. I do agree with you when you said I would have ended with everything, and instead of getting out with the clothes on my back, I would have ended everything instead of getting out with the clothes on my back, and all of that. Is some people find that very difficult. Some people just. That's why I had to say what I said. Mandy actually is really giving the benefit of the doubt here. Yeah, I mean, to be quite fair, it is. And Random Girl, hi, nice to see you as well. Nice to see new faces. Oh yes, Swifty, yes, especially you, Swifty. We got two Swifts, Maui Swift and Swifty. So I never thought I would see two Swifts. Are you guys both Taylor Swift fans? But I just so Swifty's a new face. Publicly, Ronnie is not a new face. Ronnie's not a new face. She's been here multiple times. And welcome back, Ronnie, by the way. But I think Liz Mitchell is a new face. So, but yeah. Welcome, everyone. So, let's go into what this has to say about Emerson.
Stephanie, what happens now to Emerson, Doug's daughter?
Well, Vinny, my understanding at this point is that status quo will remain. Emerson is legally in the custody of her grandmother, Alicia, and unless and until there's a change, that's going to be the status quo. However, that's not necessarily a permanent situation, and I would hope that there's going to be a lot of attention given to Alicia's conduct during these last several years, and most especially in the last several weeks leading up to the trial, that Emerson's guardian would have made a choice of putting that little girl on the street holding a sign about her mother going to jail, which indicates that she has a tremendous amount of knowledge about her father's murder, about her mother killing him, that is inappropriate for any child, much less a child this young.
Tommy, how about Eva? Does she know her?
Sorry about that. I accidentally muted the wrong area. Sorry, I thought the wrong output was playing, and it turned out that it was actually just normal thing. So let me just go back a little bit and play on.
That is inappropriate for any child, much less a child this young.
I'm not sure. That's not where I stopped. Okay, so.
Which indicates that she has a tremendous amount. Guardian would have made a choice of leading up to the trial, that Emerson's guardian would have made a choice of putting that little girl on the street holding a sign about her mother going to jail, which indicates that she has a tremendous amount of knowledge about her father's murder, about her mother killing him, that is inappropriate for any child, much less a child this young.
Tommy, how about Eva? Does she know her sister at all?
She's met her once or twice, as I remember, when Doug made the trips down and Eva came down to Florida. They spent very little time together. We've never had access to the child. That certainly hasn't been a part of what the Department of Children and Families have offered, although we've sought it out. But we believe there'll be a change in that as Ashley goes from jail to prison. We're sad that we don't know her. We're sad that she doesn't know us. And in particular, we're sad that We don't know what her memories of her father will be because she was basically 2.5 when he was killed by Ashley. So we'll have to wait and see how she is if we get the chance to be with her, but we want that.
Stephanie, do siblings have any rights in Florida in having contact with their a sister with her sister? I've never seen a situation quite like this, but are there any sort of rights that a sister would have?
In the family court, she actually doesn't have any rights to have visitation or time sharing with her sister. However, we're hopeful that in the dependency court, we will be able to get to the point where she can have visitation with her sister. I think Emerson needs to know who her family is. And I think that her mother and her grandmother have been on an affirmative track to keep her from knowing anything good about her daddy or her sister or her family. And so it's incumbent on all of us to try to make a correction of that tragedy that we're currently dealing with.
All right, well, I want to thank you both for joining us tonight.
All right, and that's why I say, because in the end of all this, there is a ripple effect from the actions of Ashley Benefield, because she did still engage in parental alienation. She did still try to keep this child, this child. Yeah, what's good? Believe in yourself. Chill. Sorry, a bit, moments. As I was saying, this child has, she's definitely not going to see the child. It's going to be of age anyway when she comes out of prison. So she's definitely going to see the child, but whether the child wants to see her is a different story. Where the child lives at is a different story. I don't know what's going to happen. So hopefully what has been provided there does satisfy. If anyone did have that kind of question on yesterday's stream, but all thought about it, but forgot like I did. If that's happened to you, and not just me, the Court TV interview is there for you all to see. So definitely that. So I'm just gonna play the last one. I think I found the correct timestamp for Eva Benefield. I'm gonna try the first one that I was, if you guys can saw before, I was trying to scan through. I think this is just the intro, so I think it is the 5th minute that she does the announcement. So I think what she said here was pretty key. So I'll get to a theory of my theory of what happened. My theory of what happened that day once we go through this. Before I do that though, let me just check the chat real quick. Swifty says no is my name. So she's not actually a Swifty. She's not a Taylor Swift fan. She's actually called Swifty. Swifty gets Swifty. Swifty gets Swifty. Swiping, no swiping. What's wrong with me, man? Oh gosh, I'm sorry, man. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist that. Right. So this is what Eva Benefield had to say in regards to the conviction of Ashley Benefield.
Eva, Doug's daughter, also spoke afterwards. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
I apologize to all the women who have gone through domestic violence situations. I think that what Ashley was doing was unfair to them. They deserve justice, and I'm very happy that my dad got the justice that he deserves.
And that's nice to hear, a feeling from and she's the one who's lost the most, right? She lost her father. Her mother's gone. She has no parents left. And she's at a relatively young age for all of that to happen. But she's getting a sense of justice here.
I think she's 23, isn't she? So, but a lot of what she said in regards to the real domestic violence victims, because It's a mess because end of the day, yeah, that's our dad in the end. And I don't think the memory this is why the verdict, when Andrea, because I believe it or not, when Andrea said earlier, in our interview yesterday that the jury was gonna that they were gonna hang, and they were sent back in. They were like, nope, we're going to get a verdict today, and they went back in and came back with the guilty and manslaughter charges. When Andrea mentioned that, I didn't even know that, but I get that. I get that because all of them actually had the mind to really be like, yo, we rather have you this be a mistrial than send you to jail, because not everything in here tells me they believe her story. Everything tells me they believe her story. But the issue will always be whether, and I think they went back in there and asked, look, end of the day, let's look at it. I think they may have to talk about the daughter, in all fairness, because the daughter was very candid, and in all fairness, the defense did what they could in soliciting information that they had, because they had to thread very likely. And what the daughter said was really bad for Ashley, because she didn't give the best impression, and the daughter would have no motivation. Well, she would have motivation in terms of that's her dad, but if the dad was really a bad person, you would have had Eva strikes me as a smart girl. Actually, I literally just remembered the thought. I was actually gonna put this. I remember it because I was gonna put this in a previous stream, but I forgot to actually line it up. But I do have it. I literally just remembered. Eva is a very smart girl, and I think on day 3, when she had to come back and testify, she demonstrated how smart she is. Let me try and find it. Let me show you quickly what I mean by her being a smart girl. And to me, I think her future is bright. And I think that whatever grieving that she has to do in regards to her dad, I think that she would get through that, or has gone through that.
I am terribly unorganized.
Not with you, but at
starting
least
to affect
she
my
has
online
a lot better prospects. I'll put it like that. Let me try and see.
Here in the court.
Okay, so this moment is what I'm referring to in regards to her being smart. So she was called back into court, and she was asked, and it was just the defense just basically trying to find out what she was telling. Apparently, she was speaking to a reporter or something like that. So I don't know. She was just near reporters. So they were trying to find out what basically happened and why that was happening. So this was the moment that I felt like she was. I will explain. I have these moments. I just indulge me for a second. Just indulge me for a second. I promise. It will make sense.
Courtroom?
Yes, sir.
With the court's permission, may she retrieve it so we can see exactly what it was that she posted? But I understood to know.
All right, we're getting there. All right. So they went through all of that, right?
Miss Benefield.
They went through all of the to see what she was doing in the gallery, all of those things, and now this was the moment of
when you had this conversation with the reporter in the hallway, were there any other witnesses around?
Yes.
Wait for it. Everyone missed it.
I'm sorry. Let me re-answer that question. None that testified, I think.
Okay, so you're saying there were people standing around,
There were people
but
around.
none of the witnesses in this case?
No, sir. Not that I remember.
Did you talk specifically about the questions that were asked of you or the testimony you've given?
No, sir.
All right. Do you have any follow-up questions to my question?
Not many, in my opinion. Not many would have noticed the distinction that what a judge said about the word witnesses. And the reason why this stuck out is because I always find it, I don't know, I don't know whether it's true or not, but I always find it very endearing. I don't know what word to. I don't know what word to use. I always find it very comforting. I don't know what word to use. Blissful. I don't know. But the point is, I always find it amazing when people have such a grasp of language, and not just such a grasp of language. They're very precise with their words, and they're very choosy. They don't, everything that they say is kind of weighty, and even, it just there's a lot of value when it comes to what they have to say. So in that moment, the reason, and I believe is linked to, how intelligent you are in some capacity. I'm not saying in all things, but I'm just saying it could do. And in that moment that everyone was thinking about, like she answered the question, no, I didn't speak to any witnesses. And that moment that she was like, witnesses in this case, and this and that, I didn't speak to witnesses in, this and that. Things like that, I'm like, she'll be fine. Because I think that she has her father's brain. And I think that she's going to go through in life probably going through his footsteps, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if it comes out that she's good in maths. Would not be surprised if it comes out that she's good in science and she's going into aviation or aero engineering or aerospace. I don't know, just something engineering based or logical based or something like that. It just strikes me as someone like that. Random girl says ADHD is real different. I don't have ADHD. I thought that was a great departure, wasn't it? Wasn't it a great departure? Wasn't it? Didn't it make sense? Did it not make sense? I mean, because I don't know. Mandy says, I think most thought she was guilty and there was one or two holdouts. I think they were just arguing on the intent. I don't think many people, and I really mean it when I say this, I think many people did not buy the prosecution's case in any way. I think they don't think that she was a bad person enough to have wanna kill him just to keep custody, if that makes sense. Maybe not to keep, I think it was a bit of a stretch. So they were hung. And when they were asked to go back in there, and they were, it probably was something that they were like, okay, but do we think that she's actually not guilty of all of this? And I think it was just that easy. It was really that easy. I think they just looked at all of it, especially with Eva and her testimony and Tommy's testimony and all of that about Doug. They came to the conclusion that there is absolutely no way that she would be justified in taking this man's life away from the daughter. Emerson is a guy's name. I have never heard a girl's name called Emerson. I'm sorry. I notice things like this. I'm sorry. I shouldn't do this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. I have a savage side. I'm trying to keep it. I don't want to do that. I don't want smoke. But anyway, why would you call your daughter Emerson? You're just setting her up for guys, parents, please, if you can take anything away from this trial, please take away the fact that being a teenager is actually tough. So if you're going to pick names for your child, make sure. I need to be stopped. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I need to be stopped. Okay. So, but anyway, because end of the day, that's what it may have come down to in the end. They didn't need to take, she didn't need to take Doug away from her. Would it have resolved himself? And I think I'll make sure now thinking about it, I think it's important to include the floor plan into the spreadsheet under the exhibits. I think I should include that floor plan image if I do see it come up on testimony. But that floor plan is really key because it is a question of, can you run away then? If it's at any point, yes. Because if there's more than one exit, yeah. As Andrea was articulating yesterday. So yeah. Mandy says, I agree. It was a compromise, but she could get 30 years. Yeah. 50 says, yeah, it was a compromise. Yep, absolutely. A random girl says, I watch a lot of the trial. I'm not sure what happened, but I honestly didn't feel the prosecution proved much. The fact that she shot him was never in question. The truth of the matter is, when you're discussing, the prosecution did enough to prove manslaughter. I don't think they did enough to prove murder. And that's all they really had to do. Really and truly, the evidence spoke for itself. So they didn't really have to say, they didn't have to establish she shot him. She established that. So that's not really the point of focus. The point of focus would be, where was she shot? Or was he shot? So when you look at that, that changes everything. And that would make or break your case. And to me, it made the prosecution's case, even if their argumentation was like, I think these were just probably interns just coming in for the first time and then maybe getting trial experience. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. But if that was the case, yeah. And maybe that's what you saw. Random girl. Maybe that's what you saw. You saw that car crash, you know? So maybe that was the situation there. But outside of that, I think they did enough to get the because every witness that spoke for them proved their case, including Ashley. And I keep saying they played onto is, I'm gonna go back to the thing now because I just literally just remembered. I know what. Okay, I just realized what you meant right now, random girl, by ADHD is a B, because I was making a point back in my. I just literally just remembered. Oh gosh, I was making a point back in my report. Oh, let me go into the. Oh God, I don't even have the article anymore. Never mind, the article layout. Let me go into. 1 second. Hold up, sorry about that. Let me just relay this. I'm not gonna play any more videos after this, so it's all good. I just need to, yeah, that's better. I would need to make new layouts. At least we learn. Next week's show shall be the greatest of all time. Not making promises though. But okay, so going back into the timeline, as I was saying, thank you, by the way, for reminding me, random girl, because that was my ADHD. I went on such a tangent. I can't wait to watch this on playback. I want to know if I made sense. But I don't have ADHD. But I was saying that at this moment, we can see how this was, how people came to the conclusion that this was a false allegation. And we can see at this moment how actually could have been manipulative. This was on the 21st, and that was solicited through Stephanie's testimony. I'll put the link. I'll put the timestamp there so you guys can go and see it. But she described Ashley's behavior to be one of that of someone to be jealous, and she also described the fact that she spoke with Doug, and then Doug just magically came out and be like, "I'm going home with her." You know, nothing more to discuss, and that was it. So to me, when I hear things like this, I'm sorry, it's a red flag, and I'm gonna be like, yo, homeboy is being manipulated. That's what's going to stuck out. That's what stuck out to me. But that's and I will say this, that is a catalyst for what happens on the 27th, because on the 27th we have the exhibits for the 23rd on the 22nd conversations, and they will all look lovely. So I can see why some people again would believe that this was a false allegation, and why the prosecution will go guns ho with the defense, with the strategy or the attack of the fact that she had to have taken his life, not in self-defense, but with the pure intent of killing Doug for the custody battle that they were facing. They also had a psychology report that was supposed to go through. So when you look at all of these facts compounded, you now have, in my opinion, there's now a kind of a crossroad, like an impasse, and you kind of have to decide which path you want to go down. So my theory of the case is not the prosecution's theory in of itself. It's not even defense's, like, you know, it kind of corroborates what the defense is trying to say, but it highlights how tragic it really highlights how tragic this case is, because I do understand let me go into the timeline, because the reason why I have this theory is because this moment was a catalyst. With the absence of the boyfriend, whoever the boyfriend of Ashley Benefield was, with the absence of that timeline, I will never know. And with me not listening to everyone's testimony, I've listened to Ashley's testimony quite a lot of time. That was never established, so I don't know. No one else knows. So that's gone into the void. So I cannot pinpoint exactly how to, like, hang this up like a perfect, but I'm going to try. Because I do believe that Ashley Benefield, the boyfriend, came into the picture possibly around August time. Maybe August, maybe September. And then they started talking and rekindling. And I don't think that's why she got a boyfriend, to manipulate him like that. I don't think so. I think it's different. I think what could have happened is the fact that whatever Doug had said to Ashley, because I don't know who reached out to who, I haven't seen anything that would suggest that Ashley initiated this or Doug initiated this. So it's very difficult for me to speak with full conviction that this was Ashley's or Doug's in doing. So I'm going to try and do both. If this was Ashley's own doing and she initiated conversation, we can put manipulation on the table, and I think this was what the prosecution failed at establishing. She failed at establishing how she manipulated him going up. This does not prove anything. These messages does not prove anything. They don't even give a primer of the case to even give you an idea why she would even shoot him that day. These messages do not suggest anything. Nothing out here stuck out, and I was really annoyed at that fact because I was really depending on that. An argument about the child. An argument about the upcoming custody battle that they're hinging their whole case on. Nothing was there. So that theory falls apart for me when I saw the absence of that in communications or anything. So they were not having any communications about that. And clearly Ashley was not having any communications with anybody else about that, because I don't think it was happening. I don't think they were arguing about custody battles. I don't think it was anything to do with a custody battle. I don't have any reason to believe that they were on rocky grounds at this point. 27th comes now, when she lays out the story that she had asked Doug to come over and help with load the car. I don't know the reasons why she would do that. I don't think it was established. But if you know the reasons, if any of you guys know the reasons, I would love to hear them, by the way. I really would love to hear them. But I don't know the reason why she had to call him to come over. But apparently she was moving to Meriden, so she was loading the car to do just that. And she told the story that Doug found out on this day. At least that's what I got. That's the impression I got from hearing her testimony, that Doug found out on this day that she was moving to Maryland and he didn't like it. I can see how that corroborates with the evidence, because I can see why Doug would not like it. And I could see how Ashley would now have second thoughts. But again, it hinges when this boyfriend that Ashley got was in the picture. Because if he was in the picture around on the 19th, then yeah, Doug gamed her, you know. Like, then yeah, Ashley gamed Doug, sorry. Ashley manipulated Doug. Ashley used this guy that just came into her life the same way that she used Doug. Just came into his life in 13 days, you know. They were married already, you know. Now you get a different idea. If I knew when this boyfriend is, now you get a different idea. Now you get the idea that may not necessarily be love bombing that was going on from Doug's side. It may just be Ashley's because she wanted a child. Why would you pick Doug, who has got a vasectomy? No one knows. I don't know Ashley's personality and profile. I'm not going to speculate, but that is pretty weird for someone to have vasectomy. You want children? You want children. You pick a guy that has vasectomy to marry? So let's add Random's girl's comment here, because she said he thought they were moving together. So even if we factor that in, I still don't think it matters too much, because even if he thought, I mean, it just means, yeah, she made it up on the spot, on the spot, because there is intent here to murder. So yeah, that would help with my theory of the case, which is the fact that she didn't want to do this anymore. And in that moment, she just thought, F it. I don't know what happened to have prompted that. Some people have moments of, you know, that they change their mind. Let's go with changing their mind. It was going good at first. Feelings came back and she was like, I can't do this. Stigma came back of what you done. I don't know. Something happens and she changed her mind. So even if he thought they were moving together, her changing her mind kind of just, you know, balances out that theory a little bit, you know, that kind of, and just kind of like, you know, it wasn't predicated on what he thought of moving together or not. It was just the idea that the relationship is now run its course. So he wasn't happy with that. And I think that seems a lot more realistic, if that makes sense. To me, it makes a bit of sense that they were going good. So if Ashley was manipulating and was using that, now you have him in your grasp, in your home. All you have to do is shoot him and say, he tried to attack me. She thought she could get away with it. She didn't. She had difficulty going through with it because it's not easy taking someone's life. But she still went through with it and took the life and lied about the manner in which what happened, which is where you get the story of the fighting combat pose and all of that, which is not coherent to any story, because you guys were good based on evidence. You guys were good. So why would he just go into a fighting pose to and even based on previous evidence of DV incidents, it's never been predicated on you leaving. He gave the justifications, at least he gave. I'm looking for signs of the tells that he would give. You know, he didn't say anything like, oh, you were going to leave me, or I thought you were going to choose that guy over me, or, you know, some kind of insecurity. Like, it just came across to me at the start of this relationship, he was just a piece of BS, you know. That's what it came across to me. And it came across, yeah. So that was at the start of the relationship. And if I'm holding my theory of the case, Ashley just wanted his sperm. He was rich, he was stable, he was all of those things. Just wanted a baby so that he can have him on the hook. And this was a good example of parental alienation that we have covered before. I think that's, with all intents and purposes, I think with all things considered, I think that could be the one that makes the most sense. Now let's flip it. Let's say it was Doug. Doug, let's say again, the boyfriend is in the picture on the 19th. Again, originally I don't know when this boyfriend is, so all of this could be nothing in the end. But my theory of the case is predicated on this. On Doug's side, or Doug's perspective, or at least putting it into the devil's advocacy position of it being, let's say, that Doug is the master manipulator in all this. The one that was stonewalling, getting married with her in 13 days, the age of 20 years, as well as the financial position, as well as the extensive wealth of knowledge he possesses. He gets with her, marries her, does all those things, shows his true colors early on, commits DV against her, she leaves. Based on this, complete manipulator. Ashley is lucky to get away. The injunction came in, about the DV, etc. Whatever, all those things happen. He's trying to see Emerson. He's trying to be a good dad. All those things. He's still the manipulator here because, again, he's abusive. He's abusive. Sorry. They're here for me. I gotta keep quiet for a bit. Lay low so that they don't catch me. 1 second. They gone? Are they gone? Whew. You never take me alive. I've always wanted to do that. Right. So, Doug Benefield. Back to what I was saying. So in my devil's advocacy position, the first breakup that they had tries to get the custody of the child because obviously he cares for the child and genuinely thinks that Ashley cares for the child too and all those things. And he tries to go through court, all those things, and something came back in the psychology report. We don't know what. Prosecution says everything hinges on the case, but we don't know what's in the psychology report. Maybe Ashley does. So with that psychology report, Ashley was like, I can't be with this guy. Maybe she learned something that would suddenly switch off her feelings. Because if her boyfriend is on the 18th or the 19th, and then she breaks up with him to get back with Doug must have said something. Again, Doug is the manipulator in this situation. So let's say that Ashley was already in the process of, you know what, I'm tired of fighting. I agree with him. He's not that bad of a guy. We spent time already before. This one here. And this works both ways. Even if Ashley was manipulating him here, even if Doug was manipulating her here, whatever, when they were in that room talking with each other, and then Doug comes down saying, I'm taking her home. Whoever was the aggressor in that situation, it explains the 23rd. Because even if, the 27th, because even if whatever happened on that day, even if it was Ashley manipulating or Doug manipulating, Doug in this situation may have reminded about that time to say, look, we had something good. I thought we were good. And then Ashley felt weak because she did like him at one point. Again, we're thinking she's credible. And then, and then Ashley was like, you know what, you're right. Let's get back together. I miss you, blah, blah, blah. And also your sex was good. I miss that too, blah, blah, whatever reason. I don't care. And then the psychology report comes on the 23rd. The hearing that they were supposed to have for the release of the report was supposed to happen on the 23rd. but it was postponed to the 30th. I don't know how I'm gonna explain this part, but bear with me. Let's just say that there is a whistleblower, and she just finds out somehow what's in the report. Finds out that Doug is mentally crazy somehow, has something that she just doesn't jive with. I don't know. Like, this is one adventure. So she finds that out and tries to leave, and Doug loses it. Maybe she tells Doug even. Who knows? And then Doug tries to like stop her, and then that's where you get a fighter pose, all those things from, and then she had to shoot him. That's my theory of the case. So one theory is Doug has a problem that she found out, and she was trying to leave, and she knew she found out, and yeah. And the other theory is she just wanted to keep this child away from her because she found out about this man and his problem psychologically. So everything does hang on this psychological report and what was in there. And it was bad for Ashley, but not in the way that we think, just in a way that whatever Doug had may have, but it could have been other reasons. Could have been but I personally believe that something that day, for something to be this unpredictable and this spontaneous, I think something that day happened, and everything in the fire post is true. She told Doug something. I don't know. I don't think she wants to repeat what she told him. That set him off. It could be anything even. It could even be a childhood thing. And instead of Doug but she wouldn't say it out of embarrassment. Who knows? I have no idea. But that's all I have. What do you guys think of the theory? Let me know. I'm going to run a poll. We have 5 minutes left. I'm going to go to your comments. Sorry, 10 minutes left. I'm going to go to your comments in the old YouTube video. Sorry, I'm going to go to the comments in the Andrea Burkhardt interview live stream replay video, and I will be reacting to some of them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then we'll close out with that. You guys have been wonderful, by the way. I appreciate every one of you that tuned in, and I hope you guys did enjoy this stream. So let me, if you guys do like what I do here, and you guys find value from it, keep supporting. Just keep supporting, because I want to discuss all of these things with you as geekily as possible. Embrace it. We're gonna do it. Let me go into that. So sorry, 1 second. I'm just trying to find the correct stream, the correct place to go to. All right, here we are. So let's read out some of your comments. Before I go into those comments, let me read out some of the chat comments. Want your video to stand out? Go to motionarray.com. Sorry. There we go. All right, don't need to do that. Let's go into the chat comments. Again, I can't highlight it, so I do apologize. A lot of this will be fixed next week, hopefully. Random girl says, clip that greatest stream comment during playback. I'm going to. Mandy says she was accusing him of child abuse, yes, and she can't take a child out of her without his agreeing to it. That is key. And that's what I mean. I'm leaning more towards the side of her being the master manipulator. I'm leaning towards the side, because I'm sorry, if you're gonna make up allegations of, it's as bad as punching a dog, in my opinion, because the child is as helpless as the dog. You might as well as punch the child in the face at this point, because how dare you say that the father of your child is doing something to the child and that's not happening? You may as well punch the child in the face. May as well. You have not given that child any chance whatsoever in life. You may as well. So I have no sympathy for either side of this party. If that's what you guys, were thinking from the previous stream, I don't have any sympathy. I've seen both of these people's laundry laid bare, and I don't like what I see in both of them at all. I think in all intents and purposes, Ashley is deservedly behind bars. This is not. It's the verdict is not the tragic part, right? The verdict is not. It's not the tragic part. The tragic part is not even that she went through DV. I mean, that is tragic. I'm not trying to rank tragedy. What I'm trying to say is that the tragic part in all of this is that it actually could have been avoided. Really. Could have been avoided. And it just wasn't, unfortunately, on this occasion. That's a tragedy. And it's like, you know, because there are cases that, you know, you just can't, some things are just inevitable. This one really feels like it didn't have to be inevitable, you know? It does not feel like it had to be this way. And that's why I felt that the jury, you know, really came to that conclusion. So, yeah. Mandy says, let me just get a hold of every single one. Mary Swift says he was under the presumptive idea she wanted to try again. Yeah, I agree as well. Again, master manipulating all this. You've heard my theory. I think that's the case. I personally don't think that Maryland was gonna happen either. I don't think Maryland was gonna happen. I personally think everything that day it was just to kill him, but she just didn't know how to go through with it. And I think she saw the opportunity to manipulate the whole situation with the boyfriend that she obtained. But without much information about this boyfriend, I have no idea, you know, so. What can you do? Swifty says, yes, again, master manipulator. Doug was under the impression, oh, sorry. Yes, Dr. H, thank you, Swifty. Random girl says, she thought she was rich and she was going to be set. Sorry, she thought she was rich and she was going to be set. She used him for everything he had and left. Unfortunately, yeah. And I've pinned Random Girl's comment about Dev V Heard episode 1. Make sure you go check that out. This playlist of the stream is available as well. You can go into the playlist tab and you can find it. It's all, so you can binge watch on all the episodes. I really went gung-ho on that case. I mean, if it's not apparent now, that's kind of what I do. So really check that out. If there's any doubt in you of whether Depp is guilty or not guilty, that those documentaries should clear it up. But yeah, I agree with Random Girl. She did use him on some capacity at the start, and I think she came back to do so again. But I think I just think that she chose the wrong option that day. I don't think she had to kill him. I think she does like control based on what Eva was sharing. But yeah, let me go into what you guys were saying here in the comments. Your reaction is anything because it's so charming. I really enjoyed the conversation. Harmy, the Rush, appreciate you. I love that. Okay, so let me go through. There was a question that was asked here. That's why I want to come here. That's not it. Okay, but I will read this though. This is not it, but I will read this. It says, I believe Ashley was emotionally abused by Doug and that she feared for her life on this day she shot him. But I can also understand why people didn't believe her, because I didn't feel she was performing on the stand, trying to make herself more credible. This didn't work and wasn't needed. The little girl voice and the lack of tears didn't come across as genuine. She was acting as if it had just happened when it was 4 years ago. Yeah, and that's a very good point. By the way, guys, the timestamps are added onto the stream. So the technical difficulties, I have marked it clearly. I haven't finished marking the timestamp, so maybe there are some other points that the audio does drop out, but I have marked it. So just use that as your guide, you know, if you guys are watching back on replay. If you guys are watching this back on replay, you know, bear that in mind as well for future streams, because we like the timestamp a lot here. This is not the stream. Did the person remove the comment? No, but like they were going back and forth on this. But anyway, 100% Jody got it right. She was more like Jody Arias. Oh wow, oh wow, that was ruthless, Johnny's girl. She had 3 guns in the house. Even in one backpack, she was loaded for bear. In my opinion, she planned it, or she was really scared and she felt like she needed protection. See, this was just like this back and forth here. I think this is what caught my attention, because this back and forth here. Yeah, this is it. Sorry, I think there's a couple more examples, but this one is one of it. This one did catch my attention. The choices that she made on that day was not wise. Regardless, I will die on the hill that she should have got a third party and went up there. She should not have gone there by herself. I will die on that hill. You're not changing my mind. So if she was not guilty, she would have done. Did she know that? I will give her that grace. No one is that cognizant or aware. No one thinks that proactively. I will give her the grace that she deserves there, because that's everyone. But that should be the takeaway. I'm not defending. Nope. I'm sorry. If she felt like she needed protection, you don't grab a gun. You get a human being. You get a police escort. What evidence would she need protection? Like, she was literally messaging him and they were spending the day. Like, I don't know. What was it? You know? It's why I asked the question of reactive abuse, for example, because it would make sense why you would just naturally wake, you know, and Andrea gave that case example of someone, you know, and I believe we should maybe look into that case. I'm going to look into that case. I'm going to research it. I did actually think about in giving examples of cases like Ashley Benefield. I just had little time to find related cases and to do it those cases the justice they deserve. But I will try and find related cases and do future streams to like call back to this moment, because end of the day, based on what Andrea was discussing yesterday in regards to the woman that stabbed the boyfriend, they're not even the boyfriend, the husband, as he was sleeping, even that story, based on what Andrea was saying and the background of even that relationship, it seemed deserved. It seemed like justifiable. But it's still not, reactive abuse is still not a justifiable defense, unfortunately. But we'll talk about that case. But in the end of the day, this was not the best option. If she was really scared, and if you want to die on that hill, get a third party, not a gun, because you don't know how that's going to go. What about your life? What about Emerson's life? You got to think about that. Which is why I'm like, yo, I agree with this. You must have planned something, because the math is not mathing. The timeline is not adding up. She was scared and she got pregnant. You guys are funny. I'll give you that. Hey, you guys, I will say this. I love how you guys do keep it respectful in the comment section. I don't agree with this comment though. I like Andrea, but clearly she didn't watch the trial. She did. Lots of details stayed out. Judge did not allow, and prosecution flat out lied during the trial. She should inform herself better during next time. Nope. No. No, that's not what happened. What happened was, especially with the psychological report, that was left out too. Defense lied too. The messages to Tommy, all of those things. Look, it's just what happens during trial. But she was the trial. If she didn't watch the trial, there were so many opinions that I'm pretty sure the chat would have flamed her on. They were flaming me for the tech issues. So if she was getting inconsistencies, and we already know that this case is split already, she would have got, like, you are, oh, that's wrong, you can't say that. She would have got it. That didn't happen. So no, I'm sorry. Nope, that didn't happen. That's all. That's all I wanted to say on this stream. No Ketchup squeeze today. Hopefully for future streams, no technical difficulties. We can dream, of course. I like to dream. You like to dream. We like to dream. But I do aim. I just want to close off with the announcements for this week. So, Ketchup Court is the sister channel of, this is where I do the trial live stream, etc. And over here is where I want to like kind of turn it into like, to be honest, I'll save it for my channel anniversary, the Heinz pop-out show, where I'm going to be discussing what's going to happen with my channel and going forward before I bring on the guests anyway. So we are going to be talking about it. But to answer your question, Random Girl, which cast? You simulcast on both. All right. So the point to answer your question, Random Girl, because that's a very good question. So for Verdict Talk, that would be a channel crossover, because I will try to keep that open for because I normally talk with people that just love talking about cases, and they have channels as well, whoever they may be. So Verdict Talk, etc. That gets a simcast, is simultaneous, coming through both channels. But that's the only one. That doesn't happen often. If there is no Verdict Talk, there is no crossover. So everything is exclusive on Ketchup Court, and what you get over here is more of a discussion of the broader picture and what we can take away from a case. That's not, Ketchup Court is meant to be like just keeping things objective at the moment. We can't think what we're talking about on this stream. We can't talk about it there. It's too confusing if you're just coming in for the first time trying to understand the case, but also it's really at advanced as well, but it is important to have these conversations as well, like trying to take things away from the case, analyze the case for what it's worth, and try to like really see if we came away with the right idea by this case. So that's kind of what I want to build my channel around, that idea of the courtroom, basically. So if you want to think of both channels, think of Dr. Heinz as off the court, and think of Ketchup Court as on the court. So you're gonna get all the whatever happens with trial talk, all of those things there. And this week we're gonna do for Ketchup Court docket, we're going to go through Laura Owen's declarations, as I was mentioning earlier, when she in regards to Mike Maracchini. So when she was going through all she was going through with Mike Maracchini, she had people support her through declarations, etc. We're gonna go through all of those tomorrow at same time, 1:30 Eastern time. Cannot stress that these are the new times. So 1:30 Eastern time. Heinz Sight is 7 p.m. So right, anyway, so that's for tomorrow on the unintentional juror, Ketchup Court. That's the second episode. And on Sunday is the Unintentional Juror podcast, and this is the show that we go through the case of the week, and we discuss that case there. Again, we have guests on that. It's not a simcast either. That one is primarily, again, focused on objective case coverage, etc. We also update on the ongoing cases. Like, tune in for the show, you will see what we do. But those are the two streams that we have ready for the week. I appreciate every single one of you that's tuned in for this stream. I will put the stream with Andrea in the description for you guys to go watch if you're watching that on replay. A lot of you are watching that on replay. Jesus Christ, 2,000 views already. I mean, wow. Where were you guys during the live stream? Would have been nice to have all you guys. I'm joking. But yeah, no, the live stream was amazing. No. I love you guys that were there. It was good. In my opinion, I really messed up the promotions for that, but I've learned a lot from all of this small time that all this has happened. I've learned a lot, and hopefully from now on, I think once I get the chat sorted, we should be fine moving forward, and I can be a bit more adventurous in what I want to do with this stream, because I had loads of ideas. I had loads of ways to like try and play and be more interactive with you, but I couldn't execute it today because of the capabilities of the stream. I just didn't have it. You know, I don't have the technique yet, so I need to get that. But I should be ready in the coming future. So if you like what you're seeing here, you know, I hope you do return, and I hope to see you on the next episode of Heinz Sight, which shall be next Wednesday at 7 p.m. UK time, or 2 p.m. Eastern time, or 1 p.m. Central time. So that's Heinz Sight next weekend. Next week, Wednesday. But yeah, without further, I will see you. Hold up. Without further, I will see you again next week. Take care of yourselves. Make sure that you get the the TLC package, and this is the Tender Love and Care package. If you know anything about TLC, you will know what I'm talking about with the Tender Care, Love and Care package. Make sure that you go back and forth in the comments respectfully. I know you guys are respectful, but make sure that you guys do the back and forth in the comments and keep it respectful if you're watching this back on replay. And don't be a creep either, guys. Don't be a creep. I hope these are landing with you guys. I hope it's landing anyway. Don't be a creep. Make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you, Random Girl, for that. And hit the notification bells. It does help keep you informed. But yeah, I hope to see you guys again. Take care of yourself. Tender love and care to every single one of you and your loved ones. Take care. Mandy, Random Girl, Swifty, every single one of you. I'll try and remember all your names. Myri Swift, Publicly Buzzed, Beth and Jeremy, Lurkers, whoever you are. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, we'll close out on that. We'll be back with an all new case to look at, and I can't wait to bring the next case and announce it on the community post. I will be moving forward with, announcing these things in advance, but I kind of need a backlog of cases to choose from, and kind of work that way. And I don't have that. This was the last case before I changed my whole system completely because of the direction I want to head into. So, but like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will keep plugging it. The channel anniversary is coming out soon. I'm going to be doing the Heinz pop-out show. I will start promoting for it at the end of August, start of September. So it's going to be big for me because, hey, this is 2 years in this now. So I that's amazing for me. But on top of that, not only that, it's also a big moment in the sense of just looking back on life and everything, and just give me a chance to connect with you guys. So I can't wait to put that on, and I can't wait to see you guys there. So without further, I'll leave it there. Have a good one. Take care. Bye bye.